In my last video, I had talked about being able to play Destiny Rising on Steam Deck and other Linux-based devices by using the translation layer and container app known as Waydroid. Well, I have an unfortunate update regarding that. It turns out that the update that changed the app from its beta version to its final release version has broken compatibility with Waydroid. As I've looked into it, it seems like this isn't just specific to SteamOS either. It seems to be any version of Linux running Waydroid. It no longer functions with this app specifically. And after looking into it a bit further, this seems to be entirely on NetEase and the changes they made to the app when it went from beta to full release. I also noticed that the other major issue that people were having with my video was that the guide I linked to get Waydroid on SteamOS in the first place no longer seems to work. Unfortunately, it seems like every major update of SteamOS breaks the installer script. So let's tackle that issue first. In the description, I'm going to link a install guide by 10-minute Steam Deck Gamer. This is the most recent one he has done for Waydroid. This is the person who actually wrote the install script for Waydroid on Steam Deck. So I highly recommend you subscribe to his channel because he's the one who's on top of fixing it every time a SteamOS update breaks it. But just a couple notes about following that guide. There are some slight errors, like here for example, where the note there says that it's HTTPS semicolon when that should be a full colon. Obviously something like that is very easy to catch and not that big of a deal, but in general I would just recommend that you follow exactly what he does in the actual command line rather than following the notations there. And obviously I don't think there's that many errors in his notes, but I would just say to follow the command line because you can see exactly what he types, and then as soon as he enters it, you can see the results of it. So as long as what's happening in his terminal is happening in yours, you should be able to get through the installation pretty easily. And the only other thing I would mention is that if you're following this guide and this is a reinstall for you, like you're trying to fix a broken install from before, you won't get through the entire process as is shown in the video. For example, it's not going to ask you to choose a version of Android. It's just going to say something like, this appears to be a reinstall successful. If you do want to change the version of Android that you have installed or configure something else on it, again, I would just recommend you check out his channel. He has plenty of guides, not just for the install, but for things like getting root access or fixing the Wi-Fi issue that some people seem to be having on Android 13. In general, it's just the best resource for if you're doing anything with Waydroid on Steam Deck. Okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about what's going on with Destiny Rising specifically on Waydroid. Now, as I had the beta version installed previously, at the suggestion of NetEase, I had deleted that version and reinstalled it straight from the Play Store. But then, once I tried to launch it, I got this problem. Now, whether or not I actually accept the notification request here seems to make no difference. In the end, you're still going to get stuck in this weird boot loop where you'll never be able to get past this NetEase Games screen, and you just won't be able to get into the game. It seems to just crash immediately, and then try to relaunch, and it just goes on looping like that. I tried force quitting the app from the settings and then relaunching, but that didn't help at all. Again, it would just launch into a boot loop. So I looked into this and I found a Reddit post by someone who was trying to fix the issue, or at least figure out what the problem is. Here's the post, which I will also be linking in the description. So it turns out that the issue at hand here is that the version of the app from the Play Store is missing certain packages that causes it to fail with Waydroid. And obviously this wasn't an issue with the beta, or I assume the alpha versions, because as far as I know, both of those ran fine. So this is specifically something that happened in the change from beta to full release, and it's honestly entirely on NetEase to fix it. Now, the way that this person managed to get past the NetEase splash screen and got to at least the Destiny Rising logo was because they got a decrypted APK from another site, which turns out to be an outdated version. I can only assume this means they found an APK of the beta. But anyway, this version launches, but of course, because it's outdated, it fails the server check and he still can't actually get into the game. Now, presumably this means that a decrypted APK of the current version of the game would work. But then again, there could also be some other DRM that would cause it to fail the server check anyway. It really is hard to say. And in either case, I don't think this is an ideal solution because I don't know in terms of like NetEase's terms, if you could possibly get banned for playing on a decrypted APK. Really, the ideal solution here is for NetEase to actually fix it, to fix the Play Store version of the game, which didn't have this problem previously and now it suddenly does. Now, with this being the current situation, what can we actually do about it? Well, the bad news is that there generally is just no way to play Destiny Rising on Waydroid currently, but I would recommend that you subscribe and follow r/Waydroid. Destiny Rising is a pretty big topic, probably the biggest topic on that subreddit right now, so people are actively looking for solutions. If someone finds one, it's probably going to show up on there first. But honestly, I think the main thing we can do is try to get this feedback to NetEase in some way. I believe there is an in-game feedback system that you can use, but on top of that, if you have a Discord account or are able to make one, I recommend joining their official Discord server where they have a suggestions channel. You can submit your feedback there and have others vote on it. So I would recommend bringing attention to this issue there, either making your own submissions about it or upvoting others that you see about it. Right now, NetEase seems pretty receptive to feedback about the game, so I think they are likely to do something about it if enough attention is brought to it. And that's really the most we can hope for right now. Now, as for me, this channel is still primarily a mobile gaming channel. The only reason I had done that video before was because I didn't have an Android device and I didn't have a PC, and the beta, unlike the first alpha which was iOS and Android, the beta was Android only. So my Linux handheld was literally the only device I could try it on, and I was wondering if it would work on a Waydroid, and it did. So I thought it'd be useful to point that out to other people who were in a similar situation to me, where their Steam Deck might be the only device that could have played the game. So I will be making more content on this game, but it will primarily be from a mobile platform perspective, which I think is probably surprisingly rare for this game in particular. That being said, I am going to keep following the situation, and if a solution is found, either because NetEase took the initiative to fix it, or because the community themselves found some other solution, then I will be making an update video on this. But that's pretty much it for this unfortunate update. Thank you for watching.